Hey, this is Amy from Real English Conversations, and today I have a speaking fluency tip for you that is related to your vocabulary. So, I'm sure that you've been in this sort of situation before, that when you're trying to express something in English, all of a sudden you realize in the middle of your sentence, in the middle of your thought, that you have no idea what the word is that you're wanting to say. Maybe it's a verb. Maybe it's a specific verb that you haven't learned yet, or you can't remember it very quickly, and it completely stops your fluency. What I like to think of this sort of situation in is that you have a gap in your vocabulary for common words that you are probably going to be using again and again. Let's say that it's maybe the top 3,000 most common words in English, but you haven't learned it yet. Or maybe you've learned the word, but you can't remember it for speaking purposes. So I think that your speaking memory is a little bit different than the vocabulary storage department in your brain. Let's say that your vocabulary that you've learned is over here somewhere, and the words that you can actually use comfortably while speaking, because you can remember them really quickly, are stored over here. You need to use these words a number of times in order for them to be over here, available to use, and part of your active vocabulary. Sometimes you've never learned the word that you want to know or you're going to be using all the time, and you need to fill in these gaps in your vocabulary so that you can express yourself fluently with whatever you want to say. Okay? So the way that you can find these words that you're missing from your vocabulary is to actually practice talking about different topics, and every time that you come across a new word or you find a new word that you realize you are missing from your English vocabulary, stop talking, look up the word, and then continue carrying on with what you were explaining during your speaking practice, using that word right then and there. It's really helpful to take note of the words that you looked up so that you can look at them 2 or 3 times throughout the next week. That is really going to help build your vocabulary very, very quickly. So the reason why it's important to stop and look up and find these words that you're missing is because your mind is thinking in a certain way. In your native language, you likely use this word all the time. Everybody is different with their communication. There's no correct way, or I guess there's no list of words that is perfect for everyone. Every person has a different tendency with the way that they talk. So the words that you want to use to express the ideas are the ones that you need to learn how to use. And once you become comfortable with using those words, you're going to see that your fluency is going to improve dramatically. You're going to have less situations where you're having to stop and think about a word or realize that you don't know the word and you need to completely change what you wanted to say in order to continue telling your story. So remember, you don't need a native speaker to practice this exercise with. You do not need a practice partner to do this exercise. You literally only need to think about a topic that you would like to try talking about and just talk about it as much as you can, in as much detail as you can, and find the words that you're missing. Little by little, you are going to fill all of those gaps in your vocabulary and be able to describe just about any situation that you want to.